So the last part here I want to talk about is just doing a forecast. So we're going to write a forecast today for Ohio. Not necessarily for today, but for the next couple days. So if I was looking at Ohio, what do I see? I'm just looking at satellite. It's a great place to start. I'm noticing that there's not much in the way of clouds unless I'm living in southern Ohio. And there's a big blob of thunderstorms here in the Midwest. So maybe I got to think about where that's going to go as far as the forecast for the next 2 days here for Ohio is. So if we were to look at this in the motion, we can see the thunderstorms moving to the east, maybe even east-southeast. And one of the other things I kind of like to look at is just water vapor. And we'll see if we can get that up quickly. Mainly I want to look at that. I want to see where jet streams might be, where the features that are impacting us might be. Here looks like a little bit of dry air, so there's probably some kind of a jet stream here. If you remember, the stratospheric here mixes in with the jet stream, so you wind up seeing in that area usually. So you probably have fairly fast winds across this area, and you can actually see it turning here a little bit. So there must be something here that's triggering this that's moving towards Ohio for later on. So with that, let's take a quick peek here at where things are located. So I want to look at the surface. I need to know what's going on. So one of the interesting things this week, you're talking about lots of observations. So I just did part of the observation I was looking at by using satellite. Now I'm going to look at it by using a surface analysis. So here's a weak low pressure system over Kansas, Nebraska area, high pressure over Ohio right now, and a cold front that stretches across to the south here. Kind of matches up with what we just looked at on satellite. How overrunning in this area, that's where the thunderstorms were, out ahead of this low. So kind of what we're picturing is right now we have high pressure. To today, you're probably looking at pretty good conditions most of Ohio. One of the interesting things is you can see how this moves. This is the current one, and here's your warm front. Also, when you're observing the weather, I want you to look at something. Notice all the observations across the United States. Look out in the oceans. They're a lot more spread out. We're going to miss some features out here. Yeah, we can estimate where some things are, but some details might be missing. So that's part of the issues on observing the weather. It's also one of your critical thinking questions, is that you're just not getting the observations over the ocean like you do over land. And some of that happens over Lake Erie. I really don't have a lot of observations over Lake Erie, so we may not know what's going on in the middle of the lake, except by looking at satellite. It'd be nice sometimes, maybe to know the temperature of the wind. Let's take a look at the wind at the surface too. Kind of with the high pressure, you would expect very light, but at least northeast winds here, and you're getting northwesterly here, which is what you want around the high. On the backside of the high, I would have expected more southerly winds than what you are here, but you still have some northerly winds here, blocking the cold warm front from coming north. One of the interesting things too with this, let's take a quick peek at. This is the Storm Prediction Center's forecast for tomorrow. They are predicting a slight chance of thunderstorms in Ohio at this time. And if you go back to their homepage, you can look at some observations as far as the upper air goes. And I want to know what's going on in Ohio today and tomorrow. So I'm going to look at a little bit of their forecast tools here and see what the jet stream and stuff might be looking like. They have a lot of good upper air maps here, so we're going to click on an upper air map. And we're going to take a look at 500 millibars today. Yeah, it's like 300. Let's start upwards. And there's that jet we were looking at. It is there. So the flow is generally out of the northwest in the upper levels. Big high pressure still over the Midwest. Not a lot of moisture to be had here looking at this picture, I would say. So with that, take a look a little bit further down at 850 millibars. And here is green shows the dew points or the moisture. Notice where these thunderstorms have been occurring, there's really a big dew point gradient. Lots more moisture to the south, not much to the north. So chances of thunderstorms today are pretty doggone slim in Ohio. So probably a lot of clear skies. One other thing you need to think about, what would be the temperatures today. And with looking at that, let's go all the way back here a little bit. And I want to look at the observed soundings. Soundings give you some idea of what the current conditions are through the vertical. So let's look at out here by Cincinnati. And here is Wilmington sounding. There is some mid-level clouds. We looked at those down south. This is southern Ohio. But the atmosphere is pretty doggone stable today. Not a lot of moisture to work with. Say we go to northeast Ohio. Let's go to Pittsburgh. Way drier. Maybe a little bit of high clouds around. So not much going to happen. So by just observing the weather, you get a pretty good picture of what the next 12 hours or so are going to be like. Now, I do want to look at some model guidance here a little bit. And I'm just going to look at a 2-day loop. We're just going to do 2 days. And this is basically looking at that jet stream. Pretty strong jet coming through Ohio right now. This is today. So we're on the convergent side of the jet. Here's another jet. Boy, this is a very powerful one coming down for this time of year, coming into Ohio. And that's going to actually trigger some divergence over your area, looks like, during the day on Sunday. So with this feature coming in, maybe Sunday might be a little bit different weather-wise. And if we want to look back here quick, this is a broad model. This is a global forecast model. Now again, I'm using models, and they're definitely a part of what your forecast will be. And here's 850 and the 2 days. And this is the mean sea level and also the models on precipitation. Today, beautiful day across Ohio. Saturday is a nice day. There was all that convection. Here comes this next cold front down. And look at that. It's generating some showers in here. Not a lot, mainly in northern Ohio, but some during the day on Sunday come through. And then the cold front swings on through to the east after that. So, actually, for systems, this is a pretty strong system. Fairly cool air for this time of year, too. You can see here, temperatures at 850 are running about 12 degrees Celsius. Remember, you can do an adiabatic estimate from that and actually get a temperature, what the surface temperature might be. We're looking up about 1,500 meters, so add about 14 degrees Celsius to whatever that would be. So you're looking at about 26 Celsius for a temperature, say. So that gives you a real ballpark estimate of what your temperatures might be for tomorrow, too. So I want to look at one other thing here. I want to look at a little high resolution. We went from one that was global to one that is high resolution, and look at the model radar. This is just a simulated radar. And this is going to show you coming across Ohio. It shows you all that convection that was out here. Had a pretty good handle on it, dissipating coming east. This is what's coming down. Look at it, redeveloped. And this is redeveloping during Sunday and Sunday afternoon. Here's that cold front that comes through. Not a lot, but more towards the afternoon, more to the east of the area. So that says that there could be some convection, so maybe I want to put a chance of a shower in there as well. The final thing I wanted to look at is models do give you estimates on temperature. So Let's look at the minimum temperature tomorrow. That's part of your forecast. Here's your minimum temperature. It's in, depending on where you are in Ohio, probably 55 to 60, and much and maybe more 65 to 70, 60 to 65 in a lot of Ohio. So that's your min temperature. And then we look at your max temperature. We can go back and get that. And this is a model blend, so it's a whole bunch of models together trying to give you a good forecast. So we'll try to get a 60-hour forecast here out future. And we're a little bit, we see the greenish colors here, probably 75 to 80 or maybe even 80 to 85, but that was what we were looking at. We estimated. So now you have your forecast for the next 2 days. So this is what everything you put together, you have learned was utilized in making this forecast. So hope you got something out of that. Let me know if you have any questions on that.